Oh, ah, okay, there's a button. I had an interesting morning. I was just talking to Jesus because I went to the haggis thing last night. I tried haggis for the first time, and it wasn't the horrible experience I thought it was going to be. It was like eating lamb flavored bread, sort of. That's the only way I can describe it, like an all-in-one falafel. But they have a lot of toasts, the Scottish, I realise. And if you've seen on my other page the toast for the haggis, it's rather flamboyant. But I was told there would be a toast for St Andrew because that's what the whole dinner was for the religious observance of St Andrew, who's the patron saint of Scotland. And of course, being Scottish, there was about 25 toasts throughout the night, and all of them with good whiskey. So I'm sitting here with a little bit of a blurry head this morning, having said yes to all of that. And you never know what anything's for. But I met a lot of interesting people last night. You just say yes, and then the next thing goes to the next thing to the next thing. But interestingly enough, I was sitting talking to Jesus about it this morning, right? Or talking to higher mind about it this morning, just opening it up to like, what was all that about? Like making those connections, etc. And I didn't really get a specific answer to my question, but what I got was an answer to a question that I'd been looking at about the Zoom meeting and about the new way that we're running the Zoom meeting, etc. And all I got was this kind of flow-on effect where Jesus helps me to help you to help others. So, there's Harry and Emily from England, and Claire and Natasha from England, Iona. Are we early, or is it just time?
It's time.
It's good. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
People are messaging me. Oh, cool. So you
And
guys
I
made
like,
it. Yay. Cool.
yeah, they made it. Ta-da. And I
Very
like that
good.
idea, because I was looking for a way to put it into people are saying, how come the Zoom meetings are now this way and not how they used to be, etc. And it's like, because there has to be the flow on effect. The whole point of making any kind of appeal to God, any kind of appeal to higher mind or anything like that, is so that it can be useful across the board. But if you get stuck in the kind of transcendent, non-dualistic version of things, what happens is you think, oh, there's nobody else, and you just stop there. Right, there is no one outside. It's like the Ramana Maharshi, so Maharshi's always like, there's nobody out there, right? There's no such thing as others. It's just a reflection of higher mind. It's just a reflection of God mind through the separation or through the fractured mirror. And as part of God mind, you're looking at the conundrum of yourself and making a reconciliation about it. Either that, or you're participating in the conundrum and helping to extend it, right? But for all of us here, we've sort of looked at the world and thought, what the hell is the point of all of this? And we're all beginning this point of reconciliation or this point of remembering. And it's a singular point that we just sort of evolve around and hub around, and we come back to it again and again, despite the habituation of our old poorly educated conscious mind to want to wander off and look at other things as if they were other things. But the state of consciousness cannot be transcended because it is part of mind. Right? Now, in Buddhism, in Hinduism, all of these isms before the resurrection, what you're looking at, if you're a student of the Vedas or the Gitas or whatever, what you're essentially looking at is pre-resurrection spiritual technology. Okay, everything up until the resurrection, which was the turning point for the repentance of man or the universal flip of the narrative, which we can now choose to join in. Prior to that, the law of the land was basically an eye for an eye. Forgiveness was there, but it was generally understood as because I am the better of the two of us, I will forgive you, which is not what forgiveness is, how Jesus presents it. Jesus sees forgiveness through the eyes of taking total responsibility for the experience that you're having, which is not always met with great enthusiasm, especially if you've had a particularly difficult upbringing. The temptation to want to point the finger outwards at other people and situations and things can be quite strong, which is why you need miracles. So in the extension of the energy, let's call it a frequency, in the extension of the frequency of our own minds, which has to be extended because the nature of God mind is to extend itself, and you are that, right? This has to be given away. This technology has to be given away. This understanding has to be given away through however it is. And initially we have a kind of a framework for practice, because even though it's something we know perfectly well, having forgotten it, we have to relearn what our best interests are. Fundamentally, our best interests are to love each other unconditionally through that action of forgiveness and allow that to extend to everyone and everything. Now, it's not always going to do that. You're going to be walking down the street and see someone that owes you money, and the first thing that's going to pop into your head is that person owes me $50. And there's going to be that grievance there, or that judgment, or that whatever it is that suddenly takes you out of that beautiful place of peace. And whatever the story, it doesn't matter. But these are the practice grounds. These are the relationships that you have wherein you practice taking responsibility for the story that you've given your brother to play for you. And that's the action of forgiveness. I've asked that brother to take my $50 and not pay it back, so I can see that I have this energy, this dark energy still within me that I want to manifest as a grievance. But it's not a grievance against my brother, it's a grievance against myself. It's a grievance against God. Through that healing, through the offer of that healing, that you're now saying, yes, that's what I want to offer in return, right? You become the witness to it as you offer it. And that's where previously these Zoom meetings, which had been kind of capped, so we have this now format where, and Chitra, you've got your books already, haven't you? And Connor, did you get yours yet? I sent a whole bunch out.
That's awesome, but yeah, I haven't gotten them yet. But
they'll be on the
waiting
way.
anxiously.
Anxiously. Don't wait too anxiously.
Well, I deal with a lot of anxiety,
Wait.
but fucking...
Really? Oh, that's a good thing. There's Michael. Hey, brother. So anyway, those books should be here shortly. Chitra's already got hers. But so we're developing this framework, and it's in alignment with the whole vernacular of the course. It's like give as you would receive. Now, part of the receiving of, call it the nature of your salvation, is the technology of how the salvation actually works for you, how salvation is, that repentant activity in your mind. Without the course, you would probably find that, most of you probably have the Bible, the New Testament, whatever, but you would probably find that it's very much open to interpretation by other ministers or your own perception of what the central message of each story in the Bible is, etc., and then to try and work out how to put that into practice, which can be that can be the difficult part. If you're anything like me, I tore out the Sermon on the Mount many, many years ago and threw the rest of the Bible away, and I thought, I'm just going to focus on this. This makes sense, but I don't understand how to put it into practice in my life. And it got to the point where it became so frustrating that I fell into a heap. But now that we have the course, we have this specific technology where you can simply begin on lesson 1 and go to lesson 365 and get this comprehensive kind of unified, universal understanding from Jesus himself already out of time regarding your own personal transformation. And that's what he is asking for us to offer to others. I need people to represent this curriculum. That's what he says in the course. I need your hands, your feet, your voice, everything. And he will direct you to who you're supposed to go and see. But you've got to be in the constancy of asking for that direction. So I had a couple of people this week who've got the books, and they're like, oh, cool, I'll go and leave them around town, whatever. Chitra, you're one of those people. And it's like, well, that's cool, but that's not following the direction. Okay, so the direction is listen, learn, and do. Listen to my voice, learn to undo error, and do something to correct it. Now, in the listening, learning, and doing, there's Brother Dean. In that listening, learning, and doing, you'll be surprised sometimes what you hear. Okay, so I had, and I've put it on Facebook. You guys have probably all heard it already, but read it already. I was walking last week down the street of my little town here, and it's just a row of shop fronts. And I walked past this single door amongst the row of the shop fronts, and it said community centre, and the door was open. And I just kept going. I thought, oh, there's the community centre. And then I got to the next shop, and the voice in my head, it said, go in there. And it was quite insistent. So I went in there, and I ended up meeting the director of the community centre, who then invited me. We talked about our predilections, and she then invited me to the annual general meeting the following week, where I didn't know, but she'd already filled out a submission form or a nomination form for me to become the president of the centre or whatever. I don't even know what it's called. And someone else had already seconded it. So it was kind of like a setup. And I'm sitting there in the meeting just being polite, thinking, this is a small town kind of community centre meeting. And the next thing you know, they're talking about nominations for the next year's council on the board of the thing. And my name comes up. And I'd only met this woman once before for about an hour, and all she knew about me was that I was some kind of a minister, and she was much the same. And she said, and for president, we have nominated David Fair, and it's been seconded by such and such. And then she looks directly at me and says, will you accept the nomination? And it's like, man, the whole teaching is yes, wow, and thank you. So what do? I have no choice but to say yes. Having heard the voice in my mind, the still small voice that said, go in there, I knew I was sent in there for a reason. So now I've only been in town for 6 weeks, and I'm now the president of the community centre, who are looking for funding, or they've got funding to do an early intervention program for youth and whatever in the town which desperately needs it. So whatever the next step is, no clue, but it's just yes, wow, and thank you. So I'm saying yes to Jesus all the time. I'm saying yes to higher purpose all the time, right? And Jesus being the head of the atonement, as he says in the course, I am the head of the atonement, which he elected to undertake through that whole trial of, with the disciples and, the crucifixion, the resurrection, and everything. It's like, I'm not going to doubt it. I'm not going to doubt that guy, like he's my guy. So when he says, I need you, it's like, I'm here. Right? And whatever that's meant to look like, that's meant to look like. So for all of us, and Ali, you're kind of new in this group, I know, but we've recently gone from being a fairly laid back kind of group to now making a decision to become incredibly active and activated. But the whole point of extending the message of love through the specific form that we're asked to extend it through is to help disseminate the curriculum and to help other brothers everywhere find it. But if we have, and I've had this conversation with a few people in the last few months, but if we have this sort of mental block that there are no others, which is a very non-dualistic perspective, then we're not going to do anything. all that happens is we'll end up skipping through the fields of lovely daisies and flowers thinking how wonderful everything is and there's nobody out there, and not actually accomplish anything. So there's work to do as well. Like St. Francis, rebuild my church. It's not the physical church that he was asking St. Francis to rebuild. It's the faith in God. Where man was interested in war, St. Francis was chosen to represent something that is forgotten about and rebuild that belief, rebuild that alignment. And that's what each of us are doing in our own individual lives and in this specific way. And that's solely for the purpose of helping others. As you give, then you shall receive. It's not the other way around. I've spoken to a lot of people that say, well, I'll believe it when I see it, which is the same thing as saying, when I receive it, then I'll give it. It's like, no, you already have it. It's already in you. The love of God is already in you. All you have to do is give it away. Now, in the temptation to want to restrict that giving based on preferential love rather than unconditional love, we need the modality of the Course to begin to make reasonable to us why forgiveness in the way Jesus offers it makes sense in our lives, makes sense in our world. Because on the surface, it makes no sense. What do you mean I'm responsible for my life? What do you mean I'm responsible for my decisions and everything, all the cause and effect relationships that I have come to me because that's what I want? I didn't ask for this to happen to me. I didn't ask for that to happen to me. Right? Now, no one's going to believe all these things that have happened to them that they've asked for, which is why you need a miracle, which is why you need to be shown the truth of yourself and understand the truth of yourself in alignment with the atonement, not in alignment with what you personally believe, because that's always going to be wrong. You don't remember the truth of yourself. I mean, some of you guys have had experiences and some of you guys are building up to having those experiences. But in general, I always prefer to err on the side of ignorance. I'll let Jesus be right and I'll just let me be wrong all the time. That way, if there's a correction to be made, it can be made without me interfering. Right? The Holy Spirit is always my blessing. I'm always the thing that is in receipt of the blessing. And the only way that I understand that blessing is by offering it to others, is by giving it away, consciously giving it away. You will naturally give it away through your own beingness. Just who you are will be the extension of the, the frequency that you are operating at, right? But Jesus is calling you to operate at the Christ-minded frequency, which is in total alignment with him without compromising it in any way. He says, what's in me is also in you. The Christ in me is the Christ in you. But you need to be aware of that at its highest efficacy, at its highest level, at its highest operating practical principle. I don't even know how to talk about that. Otherwise, you're still going to believe that somehow you're a Dean or a Tina or a Gay or a Dave. Self-realization is the name of the game here, but the process is through forgiveness. So as you extend it to others, you will recognize it for yourself. As you give it away, you'll realize what was already within you. But you have to remove the blocks first. The blocks have to go. And those blocks are going to look like whatever they look like. Every grievance, every judgment, every kind of thing. And you get better and better. You learn to get better and better at identifying where it is you take that step into the darkness each time. Right? Because everything comes around in a cycle. You have specific relationships, specific contacts that you're going to meet in the world, because the world is already the production of a storyline that you wrote for yourself, wherein you forget you wrote it for yourself and believe somehow you're a victim of the world in many proportions. And it's not true. So you have these relationships that come around, and this person does something to me, this person said something that I don't like, or this person stole my car, or whatever it is, which is not actually opportunities to be upset about things. It's opportunities to remember your wholeness. It's opportunities to remember the power of my mind, because I'm getting exactly what I want. If God only gives and I'm getting a whole pile of shit, then that's what I want. I want all this crap to happen to me. And you have to look at it then from either one of two perspectives. Either I'm completely bonkers, asking for all this stuff to occur to me, or God is at fault. Now, which of those two perspectives is likely to be the one that's the most accurate? I must be completely bonkers. Right? And without that admission, nothing can change. Until you can admit responsibility, not in a guilty way. You're never guilty of anything. You're a child of God throughout. But until you can admit responsibility for your karmic footprint, if you like, nothing can change. And it'll come around and around and around again in the cycle of your learning relationship with a specific person, situation, or event, which you will recognize by the energetic of it. You'll recognize the frequency of it. Right? Oh, this is the same experience with a different person. I'm feeling the same way about this person as I did with that other person. Why is that? It's because it's you in a different disguise. A slightly different scenario. Right? Using up the potential of the experience that you think you have as to be separate from God. It's like, oh, there I am. That's my craziness again. That's my insanity again. And you keep going. You just keep forgiving yourself until finally you recognize, well, that's done, because I've seen that person 2 or 3 times now, and I don't react the same way. So therefore, the prayer of my heart for the forgiveness of my mind that believes that I'm separate from God has taken hold, and I'm free of it. And you'll recognize it because you have to recognize it. You are the witness to your own effects. And your effects are either going to be chaotic or they're going to be peaceful. Now, once all those blocks are removed, it's like when Jesus says, miracles are your right, but purification is necessary first. Purification is necessary first. That's the section where you're removing blocks. And the quicker you get through that, the better. But if you're being transcendent about it, and this is where you have to be honest with yourself, I can't tell you anything. If you're being transcendent about it and telling yourself, oh, there's nobody else out there, we're all one, isn't it lovely, and all of that, then you're missing that opportunity, because your mind will automatically enter into this kind of astral state, and you will adopt that sort of astral state as your state of being, and it's possible to live an entire life that way. Until finally something comes around so hectic and so traumatic that it absolutely shatters that looking glass, and you fall back into questioning, which can often be horrible. So it's better if we do this as a slowly evolving program, like it says in the course, and we come to learn within ourselves and in our relationships where it is that finger slips off my nose and wants to point out at someone else, or something else, some other situation, person, or event, for how I think I feel about things. It's like, no, hang on, my finger has to stay here because I'm singular. If God is all things and God is within me, then what is it that there is something outside of me? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. What I'm seeing is a reflection. But I don't want to transcend the reflection by just saying, oh, it's just a reflection. You have to learn to use it, learn to do the work. Right, Emily's had a good one this week. Had a nice moment of reflection, looking at something in her mind, which she's had to take responsibility for, where the finger has slipped off the nose and wants to point it at somebody else. Putting that finger back on your nose can often bring up a lot of, a lot of resistance. It's not me. It's not me. The finger doesn't want to go back on my nose. It's someone else's, and then finally getting that finger back on your nose, and it feels like such a relief. You've been caught out again, but, thank God to be caught out. Finally, you can stop faking it. You can keep it real. So we have a specific context now through this, as my teacher used to always say, we just got to get this out there. We've got to get the technology of this universal curriculum out there so people can even be aware that it's there, so then they can deny it if they want. Right? The amount of people I've given books to and talked to about the course or about the universal curriculum, and it doesn't have to be relative to the Course in Miracles. The universal curriculum is something that's a standard across the board, whether you're a Hindu or a Buddhist or a nothing at all. It doesn't really matter how you see yourself. It's just a way of seeing. But it's the consistency of that seeing that matters. You eventually bring the consistency of that seeing into your heart and mind as one thing, so that that's all I want to see. When Jesus says, give up the world and follow me, it's yes, Lord, not yes, Lord, but. Which is the same thing as saying, are you willing to give away the love that is within you unconditionally, which is all you're learning? And it's like, well, yes, Lord, but not to that person, because that person still owes me $50. So you look at the course and you have these lessons and it's like, damn it, I've even got to forgive myself for that $50, because that's $50 I'm trying to hold God in debt to. But if God is the source of all things, then that $50 must also be the debt that I owe, because I'm one with it. I'm not separate from the debt. I am what that debt is. It's kind of funny. I saw a meme recently where somebody said the nation's debt in the world or something is $40 trillion or something. And it's like, well, who do we owe that money to? Like, really? It's the funniest thing. You're not telling me that somebody's got $40 trillion to lend so that the rest of the world can be in debt to them. It's like, it's quite a ridiculous thing. So by now, Tina, and you can jump in here, Tina's building this networking thing. Ali and who else was here new? There was somebody else I saw, but you guys are only new. So what I want to do with this Zoom meeting, if you guys want to hang around, that's fine. But there's going to be a component of our meetings now that is sort of like housekeeping and whatever. And Tina, you might take that on after the meetings, actually. Does that sound good, since you tend to hang around anyway?
Yeah, that sounds good. So
All right.
you can hang out with me afterwards, and if you can't, holler at me.
Yeah, so, and then Tina can go through, we're setting up this kind of like a database, so it just makes it easier for those little books that we give away for free and everything else. So we can understand and keep track of how many we have, how many we need, who's giving them away, and how that's all occurring and everything. Because it just helps us to develop the extension of things, to keep it moving, rather than just sitting here in a Zoom meeting week after week, looking at each other and wondering what we do next, right? So brother Dean's in Mackay there, and Brother Dean's always out in the street. He's like a regular street preacher. He's out in the street, always meeting people, always talking about Jesus, always talking about the course, and he does his whole thing hands-on, like live action. which is how I'm going to be here after a little, once this is all me casa is finished here, but it's pretty much, you know, when Jesus says, I need your hands and your feet, that's a literal thing, like literally. There is the doing. There is the getting out, and you step out your front door. This is so cool. You step out your front door in the morning. It's like, all right, guide me today. Show me where I'm to go. Let me meet the people I'm meant to meet. Now, the funny thing is you're going to meet them anyway. But when you set that up for yourself, when you remind yourself of your higher purpose throughout the day, the chances of you being able to remember why you are there in any one given spot at any given time is going to be better than if you don't do that. Okay? You tell yourself the kind of day you want. And it's like, all right, I want to be of full service. I want to be of total service today. I want to give my love away totally. And this is the means and the thing that I have. And I'm just going to step into that new energy and see if a portal opens there for me in that relationship with whoever I meet to be able to extend the message of this teaching, or to be able to give my love away in perhaps a nondescript kind of way, whatever it looks like, right? But if you don't set yourself up for the day properly, like Jesus says, the rules for decision, right, in the course, tell yourself the kind of day you want to have. If you forget to do that, you're probably going to walk out the front door with your mind in neutral, completely unaware of what's going on. And you'll get back home at the end of the day and you'll be like, oh, I'm glad I'm home. Right? And those opportunities will pass you by. One of the teachings, Ted, actually it wasn't Ted, it was Brent. Brent was my guide for the first 12 months at the Healing Centre, but he used to say, don't let these opportunities pass you by, because love exists in this moment only. And if you're carrying it with you, you will meet it in those moments where the relationship comes together, which is the cause and effect of your own experience. I believe I'm separate from God, but now I'm going to carry the light consciously to come to an understanding for myself and be my own witness to the fact that I'm not separate from God, because I just had all these interactions with all these people, all these situations, and they were all perfect. No grievances, no problems, no nothing. And you'll get back home and you'll be like, whoa, what a day. That was incredible. I had the most beautiful, wonderful experience all day in connection with everybody that I met. I had a beautiful moment last night. We're going to do the 20-minute book in a second, just for Ali. I had a beautiful moment last night at the Scottish thing for St. Andrew. There was the blessing of the haggis, right? And I tried haggis last night, but there was the blessing of the haggis. And you know, when you think of a blessing, it's usually one of these kind of, you know, Lord, thank you for the whatever, you know, and the haggis and blah, blah, blah. It was nothing like that. It was a completely passionate, violent in a good way, like an expressive way, passionate way, absolute Scottish, just, and I posted it up on the clan page, I think, goes for about 4 minutes. This elderly gentleman came along and he looked like everybody's sort of classic grandfather kind of figure. And you wouldn't think anything of him to look at him from the outside other than, oh, what a nice looking little old man, you know. And then he did the blessing and grabbed the knife and smashed into the haggis and the whole thing. And you're like, holy crap, this is some kind of blessing, you know. This is the passion of this guy. This is the moment. And it's, you know, and I was totally loving it. I was just totally joining with this guy. And I went over to him at the end of the night, at the end of the evening, to thank him for the blessing. And he'd reverted back into this kind of very calm, very peaceful sort of grandfatherly kind of, oh, I'm glad you liked it, you know, and look, with the Scottish accent, I can't do a Scottish accent, but I'm glad you liked it, da-da-da-da-da, and went on. But those moments, those passionate moments, they become the living prayer of your everyday life. Your whole life becomes that passionate experience. When a leaf falls from a tree, wow, When someone blesses the haggis, wow. When you walk down the street and the wind goes on your face, wow. You know, your life becomes this incredible adventure or nothing at all. But because it gets split up initially, it gets split up into the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, or the should and the shouldn't. There is none of that. There is no should or shouldn't. There is no better or worse. These are all definitions we make up to try and understand the nature of our experience here. I'll split the experience into two halves, and I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt that the things that I like about the experience are probably the truer ones, and the ones that I don't like are probably just ones I don't need to worry about. And it's not that way at all. The experience is a whole thing, the yin and the yang. But if I have preferences, I'm going to miss the point of the experience. Wow, somebody owes me $50. Wow, someone stole my car. Incredible. What an incredible experience I'm having. You know? And you learn to see your whole life that way, without the grievance. Even from the understanding, even from the very basic understanding that one day this is all going to be over, and you're going to look back on it and you're going to say, that was an incredible adventure. Or you're going to look back on it and say, that bloke still owes me $50. But the choice is yours. Wow, thank you for stealing my car. Wow, thank you for not paying me back my $50. Thank you. What an experience I'm having. You know, in eternity, you can't experience any of this. In eternity, you're just there like an amorphous sort of glow of light that you're naturally extending yourself until you choose to undertake another journey of the soul. Well, this is the journey of the soul. Welcome. You're on it. You're in it. It's happening. Don't take it for granted. It's the most incredible thing, isn't it, Arlene? It just goes on and on and on. The journey of the soul. Try to let that sink in. I'm in the journey of the soul, and now in the journey of the soul, I'm participating in this thing called salvation. Wow! What the heck is that? And then Jesus gives you a book and he says, well, here's what it is actually, and read the lessons, do the blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, that's a lot of work to do. Wow, that's a lot of work to do. In eternity, you can't do any work at all. There's nothing. It's just like, good morning, good morning. You know those fish? Have you ever seen that Monty Python skit and the fish in the tank? And they have 2-second fish memory and they swim to one end, swim back. And every time they go past, oh, good morning, as if they've never seen each other before. And then they get to the end and they come, oh, good morning, like that. And the fish do that all day long. Well, that's how life is. Life is like that. It's this moment right here, right now, being presented seemingly again and again and again. But I'm meeting myself every time the fish go past each other. I'm meeting myself as that fish meeting the other fish. But it's me I'm meeting. But if I split it up into that person, if my finger comes off my nose, that person or this person or those people, then I'm not meeting me. I'm meeting other people's situations and things. And I'm separating myself out. I'm no longer the dreamer of my dream. I'm a victim to it. Or I'm a casual bystander in somebody else's bigger dream. But if my finger stays on my nose, I am my sole authority. I choose what happens. I'm responsible. Whatever occurs to me, I'm responsible. This is the story that I've written for myself, and whether I now like it or not doesn't really matter, because I only develop an idea of like or don't like based on preferences. When I let go of preferences and understand that everything is God, then I can let go of my fear of things and just live in faith and just trust that whatever's meant to be presented to me is going to be presented to me for my greater good. That doesn't mean that you go out and play chicken with the cars in the street. It means you step back and you just allow the universe to orchestrate where you cross the street. Right? So we're learning to listen to the Spirit, learning to listen to the Holy Ghost. Sometimes that's going to have a specific context, and sometimes that's just going to be a general feeling. Most of my days are spent walking along in this kind of blissful, sort of peaceful sort of state, and occasionally I'll hear a voice because I've trained my mind to listen for that voice. Occasionally I'll hear a voice and it'll say, go in there, or go up into the sand dunes. And you probably all know that story where I found the girl up in the sand dunes. She'd cut her wrists, right? But it's like learning to listen to that voice. Sometimes you'll hear the voice and it'll give you a specific thing to do. Me, I don't get a lot of specific things to do. Sometimes I get the sense that Jesus thinks we'll just give Dave things to do to keep him out of the way. Keep him busy so he doesn't interfere. I don't know if that's, but like elder brother, play a joke on Dave, that kind of thing. Jesus sort of comes across that way to me as an elder brother. It's like, we'll send Dave back up to Mackay after Christmas, that'll keep him preoccupied for a few weeks and then we can get other stuff done. But that's perfect too. Everything's always perfect. It doesn't matter what it's meant to look like. So we're going to do the 20-minute book, which is the review of the first 50 lessons of the course. But before we do that, Ali, do you have your guitar?
Yeah, it's back here.
Would you honor us with that beautiful song that you wrote?
I really would, but I accidentally busted off 2 strings.
Uh-huh.
So it only has 4 strings on it now.
Okay.
And I don't know how to play it on
With
those
4
4
strings.
strings that are there.
You could do it a cappella. Do you feel comfortable about that?
Yeah, you're really working up my nerves here.
Oh, that's good.
Middle school, high school a cappella fears.
That's terrific. Hooray. We're about that. We're about bringing up those fears.
Okay, well, if everybody doesn't mind hearing it a cappella.
I'm sure no one will mind.
Okay.
So let me just
Can you hear
introduce
okay?
Ali. Let me just introduce you to the group for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Ali's been commenting on a few of my videos and I got really intrigued by the nature of her comments and I went over to her YouTube channel and found a whole bunch of videos that are just divinely beautiful. They are all absolutely divinely beautiful. And they reminded me of me 30 years ago when I was in this kind of, I don't even know what, but you'll see when you watch her videos. And Ali, Tina, you can drop Ali's link down the bottom. But the nature of those videos, and I don't mean to be insulting here, Ali, but they're very humbling. To me, they're very humbling. Because there's been this whole education thing that's happened in my mind that prior to having my Jesus experience and having all of that go on, I had all the pieces, it seemed. I had all of the ideas, all of the concepts about faith and everything, and I was doing my best to live that lifestyle and live that way. And I see that in your videos, but it was a natural and organic thing that I'd kind of discovered, often through a lot of pain, often through a lot of suffering and drug abuse and everything that I'd come to it. But when I watch your videos, it's like, oh my God, that's me. There's a whole resounding connection that I have. And I'm sure all you guys, if you watch some of Ali's videos, you'll be like, oh my God. And it's not the message. It's not the words. It's not what's being expressed. It's the innocence that it comes from. And I love that and I almost, Ali, wanted to say to you, please don't come to our Zoom meetings. Because I know what happens when Jesus sort of looks out at you and goes, yeah, that one's nearly ready, or that one's kind of like developing well, and then he's going to grab a hold of you and put you through this whole process. And the fact that you're here now is no mistake. But I used to bemoan for the first couple of years when I did the course. I used to wish I could go back to being the way I was before I found the course. Just happy, carefree, this spiritual person that used to wear baggy pants and virtually no clothes and just skipping around the hillside. And like I was really, it was a thing for me. But and I used to wish I could go back to being that way. And then Jesus gave me a job. He said, you're ready. You can do this. I've got a job for you. And it's the next sort of 6 years of training with my teacher. Just, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And I wanted to say, Ali, please don't come to the thing. But I know that that's not my place to say anything about. So, but thank you for your videos. And thank you for that beautiful, heartfelt place that you take me to when I watch your videos. Because it's really something that's just, it fills me up. It fills me up, put it that way. And you get to a place you don't think it's possible to be filled up more. So, anywho, you ready? Not want to put you on the, don't want to put you on the spot or anything. Kevin's waiting.
Okay. Well, thank you for everything you said.
I don't even have the words to say what I really want to say. Like I just...
No, never.
Never, no.
Okay. All right, here we go. I have to get myself right real quick.
Yep.
My Lord, how radiant you are, though invisible you seem to be. Perfect creation of a perfect creator, the mind wanders in. To a perfect creation of a perfect creator, confusion is the sin. Cause all is love.
That's okay.
Cause all is love, and beautiful you are, and peace is yours forevermore. And this is your inheritance, 'cause you are made in the image of God.
That's okay.
Then it goes a second time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Filled with like nerves, and then starting to tear and nervous, and
Yep.
without the guitar, and it's a totally different experience.
You feel like you hide behind the guitar a bit?
I don't think so. It
Okay.
gives me it pulls something out of me more of that.
Confidence.
But yeah, it took a long time to get me to actually pick up an instrument and try to use it and play with it and hold a rhythm. And
What part of America are you in there? Are you in America? I'm just assuming.
I'm in LA, in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Near Tina. I say near Tina, but it's like, I don't know how big LA is. It's probably enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, we could be in two very different cities.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, Kevin, can you do lesson 1, please, in the reviews of the Course in Miracles, those first 50 lessons? And then we'll just go around. Some of you guys are now, Anna, I know, and Claire and Natasha, they're here somewhere. Where are they? Oh, yeah, there. Opening your homes up for course groups, which is fantastic. And being more active about representing it in the community, which is incredible. One of the things that I've always found helpful is the review of the first 50 lessons, especially if you're trying to explain what the course is to somebody, which can be very, very difficult to do. I find it always better to let the lessons explain it for themselves. And you simply read the lessons, and what the meaning of those lessons is permeates in where it is needed. It goes into the psychology of the reader and those listening, and it is felt. It is felt in the psyche. The messages are always felt in the heart space. It's like with Ali in her song, she starts to feel it, and there's a tear comes and it brings stuff up. And in the reading of the 20-minute book, as you know, participating in this Zoom, it often gets quite emotional. There's often a great release of stuff. There's often a great inability to read the lesson, all these sorts of things. Right? So if there is healing to occur, let it occur. But because we're now an active group, what I want to encourage you guys is to use that 20-minute book, use that little book. Don't just give them all away, because there will come this initiative. You will feel it within yourself. Hey, I want to do a reading group, or and you might find a local cafe to do that in. You might do it in your home. You might do it anywhere. But you will also, in that idea of extending it to others through a group or whatever, because salvation is joining, coming together, right? Unity. Through extending it that way, you will also realize through your facilitatorship, if you want to call it that, or through your willingness to step up and say, yes, I'm going to do a reading circle or a reading group at the local library or wherever, you'll realize something else that occurs in you, like an activation that occurs in you, right? Because you're taking responsibility for all of those people that come. For all your brothers that show up, even if it's only one brother, you're taking responsibility for their salvation. You're the one offering it to them. And that can be a scary space to step into, right? So initially, I like to let the workbook speak for itself. I like to let the course speak for itself. Read this. I know you're going to have a different interpretation of it than I have, but the whole purpose of it is to bring both of us together where the teaching-learning equilibrium becomes the same, right? My purpose as a teacher, let's say, in your life is temporary. I'm here to teach to make myself redundant so that you can become strong in the way of spirit and take this on for yourself and help others to take it on for themselves, right? And in that, we become like the Jesus underground, like Tina likes to call us. We are the Jesus underground, helping as we have been helped. Because if you don't pass this on, if you don't give this away, even in the specific context, it will just turn in on itself within you and become capped. And you'll find yourself telling stories of how 10 years ago you were in a Zoom group and you went through these amazing releases and you did all this and that and the other, and it won't have gone anywhere, right? But it's like the disciples of Jesus. We are the disciples of Jesus in that sense. The disciples of Jesus took what Jesus taught them, went out into the world and became the teachers of this technology and started, people started religions with it because that's what people do, but you're not encouraged to do that. But, if it wasn't for the disciples, we wouldn't have the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We wouldn't have the books of Acts. All of these things that show us that, hey, there's something else going on here. There's something else that these guys are talking about and doing, which even in our modern world is still something else that I don't understand. Because we like to think we understand everything, especially by the time we get to about 30 years of age, we like to think we can meet the world on equal terms. And as soon as we reach that point, we start to take it all for granted. Oh, I know what that is. I know how that works. But you can never know how the Spirit works. It's like the wind. No one knows where it comes from or where it goes to. And that's the journey. That's the journey of liberating the mind from that fixed position in time and space to understand that I don't know where I'm meant to be today. I don't know who I'm meant to see. I don't know what's meant to occur. I don't know anything. I just wake up in the morning, give my day to God, and I walk out my front door. And whatever happens is going to be a miracle. Even if it looks like I meet the same people or go to the same workplace. I want something else to happen to show me the miraculous nature of life in those same relationships or in relationships that I've never even dreamed are possible. It's like I don't want to limit it. I don't want to put a limit on the spiritual experience that I'm having in any way because it's all going on in my mind. All I'm looking for is the witness to the truth of my mind, the truth of my experience, which is love. That's what I'm telling myself I want. I just want love, unconditional love. Right? Now, you can't have it until you give it away because you don't know what you have until you give it away. How do I know that the kingdom of heaven is within me? Give it away and you'll see. Extend it and you'll see. Righto, Kevin, let's have it. So the mind training, sorry, Kevin, the mind training is designed, Ali, if you're not aware, are you aware of the Course in Miracles? Yeah? Oh, good. Yep, all right. Let's go. Go, Kevin.
Nothing I see means anything. The reason that this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place.
Do the next one, please.
I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them.
Good. Emily, can you read the next one, please?
I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss. What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before?
Do you remember making the one before? Say no.
No.
Right. That's where the faith comes in. I don't remember making the decision to be separate from God, to experience separation. I don't remember making that decision. But yet somewhere the memory of making that decision is still in your mind. And in the path of returning, in the path of going home, let's say, I mean, you are already home, but in the path of repentance, you will come across that decision. And it will show up in one form or another that you can recognize, and it's going to be devastating. But hopefully the mind training that you're embarking upon now is going to be preparing you enough so that when you recognize it, you'll simply be like, aha, there it is, rather than get the hell away from me. What am I? Help. Throw this book in the bin. Does that make sense? The personal realization that I think that I'm separate from God and the conceptual understanding from reading a book that tells me I think I'm separate from God is two different things. One is where the egg falls on the floor and goes splat, and the other one is knowing that the egg can fall on the floor and go splat. And you have to let the egg fall on the floor. If that's a good analogy. I don't know if that's a good analogy. Anyone else? No? Tina said no. It's where the rubber hits the road, put it that way. Okay. Harry, do you want to read the next one?
These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God.
Good. I had somebody say to me this week, how will I know what are my thoughts that I think with God? And the only response I could give that person was, you will know. They are so unlike the thoughts in your head. They are nothing like the conceptual verbiage that goes on, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely nothing at all like it. Yet you will understand those thoughts through the translation of your blah, 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 because consciousness is still part of mind, even if it is badly trained. That's why through meditation, through deep meditation, it's a form of listening. You're listening beyond consciousness. You're listening for something that comes from another level, a higher level, of which you are part and whole and one with now, but don't really remember. You know, we get caught up in our busy day and everything goes on. And it's like, when do I take the time to listen? And once you hear one of those thoughts that you think with God, they're true. It's a true thing. It's not just words in a book that you're reading. Once you hear one of those thoughts even, you'll be like, where did that come from? Who said that? It'll be so startling. the first thought I ever heard and it goes back to when I was about 19 years old, the first thought that ever popped into my mind that I thought with God was, there's nothing to worry about. No, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Nothing to worry about came later. I was walking up a pathway to the rainforest looking for somewhere to go and meditate. I was trying to teach myself meditation. I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't even know really what it was. And my whole body became like a massive vibration. Everything started vibrating. As soon as I got out of sight of all the houses and hotel and everything where I was, and I was alone, my body started to vibrate with this incredible intensity, and I became scared. And I tried to turn around and go back thinking I was having a medical something happening, but I couldn't turn around. I literally could not turn around. My body wouldn't physically move. I could only go straight forward. And I felt two arms under my armpits. I felt like two hands lifting me up, and I felt feather light. My whole body was feather light. And then I heard this woman's voice say to me, well, I think it was a woman's voice, but it said, don't be afraid. And instantly all the fear went from me, and I was almost carried to the place where I eventually did my meditation. But that voice, I've never forgotten that voice. It wasn't the blah, blah, blah in my head. It was a voice that came from God. It was a thought that I had in God mind that I gave myself, which is hard to talk about. It seems as if there was someone else saying something to me, but it's not really that way. It's one voice, one self. And that was a kind of a random one. I wasn't really even listening for that one. But it's in the activity of meditation where you enter into the silence and you practice that inner listening that you usually will have the most opportunity to hear that inner guidance, that inner voice, being still. Be still and know that I'm God. Iona, can you read the next one, please?
I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies, so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system which has hurt me and which I no longer want. I am willing to let it go.
Do the next one.
I am upset because I see what is not there. Reality is never frightening. It is impossible that it could upset me. Reality brings only perfect peace. When I am upset, it is always because I have replaced reality with illusions which I made up. The illusions are upsetting because I have given them reality, and thus regard reality as an illusion. Nothing in God's creation is affected in any way by this confusion of mine. I am always upset by nothing.
Good. Jason, can you do the next one, please?
I would be reading out of my actual book. I don't have the little one yet. It hasn't gotten to me.
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's the same in the big book.
Okay.
That little book is just a bunch of extracts from the big book and some other pieces added in. So, but
Okay.
it's the same. It's the same reviews. Yeah.
I see only the past. This idea is particularly difficult to believe at first.
No, we're doing the reviews.
The review.
So if you go to the end of the first 50 lessons, you'll find the reviews of those lessons.
You got it,
So
FIP?
page 84 on mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I found it. Yeah. As I look about, I condemn the world I look upon. I call this seeing. I hold the past against everyone and everything, making them my enemies. When I have forgiven myself and remembered who I am, I will bless everyone and everything I see. There will be no past and therefore no enemies. And I will look with love on all that I failed to see before.
Good. Sada, can you do the next one, please?
Yep.
Yep, that's what we like. Yep.
My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see only my own thoughts, and my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind.
Good.
Let me understand that I am trying to use time against God. Let me learn to give the past away. Realizing that in so doing, I am giving up nothing.
Beautiful. Lucy?
I see nothing as it is now. If I see nothing as it is now, it can truly be said that I see nothing. I can see only what is now. The choice is not whether to see the past or the present. It is merely whether to see or not. What I have chosen to see has cost me vision. Now I would choose again that I may see.
I remember Ramana Maharshi said that enlightenment is like trying to squeeze an elephant into a matchbox, or it might have been Krishnamurti, but one of those guys. It's like trying to squeeze an elephant into a matchbox. I always recognize the paradox in these teachings. They represent where I think I find myself and where I actually am. And between those two perspectives, between those two ways of seeing, is a matchbox. And I have to squeeze myself into that place. And the closer I get to that place, the more emotionality comes up, the more the conflict between those two ways of seeing becomes obvious. And the more obvious it becomes, where I have to learn to choose again whether I want to see with the eyes of Christ or whether I want to see through the body's eyes. And that's like going into a place between a rock and a hard place. Right? Me, in my heart, when you read that book, I want to push you into that tight, wedgy little place. You ever have like siblings and they just squish you or do something and and you like, get off me, stop it, right? And they're just playing, right? In my heart and mind, it's like Lissy's reading that book. She's starting to feel it, because I can tell you're starting to feel it, right? Your frequency's going sort of like, ah, right? There's that conflict going on there. And it's like, I want to push you in there more. Because the tighter it gets, the more honest the prayer of the heart becomes. It's like there's this place of no escape. You know, Jesus gives me clearly this whole, and it's not my job to do that, but it's like, when you go to what was I watching the other day? The Gladiator thing, and they're all there and they're going, kill, kill, kill. And like the thumbs up and the thumbs down. It's like, I'm there with my thumb down. I'm like, go, Lissy, go. Like, die to that ego, like that whole thing. It's just like beautiful. And it's like a romance scene, at the end of a movie where you just know the hero and the heroine, they're going to come together and everything's going to be all right. And it seems to be taking so long. And it's like, come on, just do it. Just get it together. And there's that moment where you're connecting with that whole thing, and it's all about the love, and it's like, it just needs a little push, and like, bam, and then it happens, and then happily ever after. And it's like, well, that's the same exact sort of thing. There's this moment that you enter into with yourself, where between one perspective of seeing and the true perspective, let's say, of seeing, there's this bridge or this moment that seems like personal conflict. It seems like Jesus is telling me that I should see my brothers this way, but he's also saying, this is how you see them now, actually, but I'm encouraging you to take another step and to learn to see them as they actually are. Right? And there's always going to be that moment of personal, that bridge, that little moment that you cross, where it's like that, and the pressure builds and the pressure builds, and it's like you want to read that lesson and you got to get through it, but all of a sudden the emotion starts coming up. You start relating to the lesson because he's talking about you personally, and it's affecting you personally. And it's like there's a moment there where you choose either to allow it to affect you or to just keep reading the lesson. Now, there's no right or wrong in it. There's no better or worse, right or wrong at all. In here, in me, I'm like, Lissy, just explode. just totally implode or explode or whatever you're going to do. I don't care about reading the lesson, right? It's not really about the lesson. It's about where it brings me to in my own mind and my own heart. But it's like I have to sit here sort of like tempered in a certain sense with my finger on my nose. And it's like, but we're supporting each other. Like this whole Zoom framework, it's a place where I kind of have this understanding. We're all here because we've admitted we need the help. We're all here because we want the speed up. We're all here because we're enjoying that celestial speed up that Jesus is telling us that happens when we come together for a single purpose. You can read this course alone in your room forever and ever and ever, and you can apply it and whatever, but when you come together in things like this, and it's like you have this whole confrontation goes on, it's like, wow, it puts it right into perspective in such a sharp way. And then of course you go back out into the world and the pressure is released, but you get to see where it goes in your own mind. You get to see what you do with it, you know. So I want you to read the next lesson, please, Lissy. I want you to forget about everything I just said and read the next lesson. And then Connor.
I My thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts. Yet it is only private thoughts of which I am aware.
Good.
What can these thoughts mean?
Good. Breathe. Good.
Oh.
Don't recover.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's between the words. It's in the spaces.
The holy instant.
Exactly. Into eternity where all is one crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh.
Now that's crap.
Crazy stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good. All right, finish it off.
Yes. Uh, Yet my mind is part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless private thoughts?
Good. Connor?
Okay. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. What is producing this world is insane, and so is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing.
All right, I want you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let go of what you think you just read. Let go of everything. I know you don't know how to let go. Just instruct your mind to do it, that's all. Don't look for the result of letting go. Just tell yourself, let go of that. Leave a little empty space there. In the empty space, I've never heard of A Course in Miracles. In the empty space, I've never heard of separation. In the empty space, I don't know what God is. I've never heard of God. It's empty. There's nothing there. In that space, your mind becomes like the mind of a child, where everything is new for the first time. Every experience is a new experience. Take a breath. And I want you to force yourself to stay in that space. It's a discipline. It's like when you meditate and you find that your mind wanders off again and again to things of the outside world, and you have to continually bring your mind back again and again. And you have to be quite firm with yourself to stay in that place of silence and practice staying there again and again. I want you to read the lesson again from that place when you're ready. As if it's brand new and you've never read it before.
My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, the world that pictures them can have no meaning.
That's better.
What is producing this world is insane, and so is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing.
You felt that, didn't you?
Yeah.
The first time you read it, that was just reading it. The second time you felt it. I can feel it when you feel it. And so can most of the people in this room. Because we are one. We are a single self.
Thank you.
Consciously allowing yourself to be one with all things, consciously activating yourself is exactly what I'm talking about for all you guys when you step out the front door in the morning. Let me remember my purpose. Let me remember why I'm here on the planet, seemingly. And carry that with me, because my purpose and my function are the same thing. But I won't be aware of my blessings unless I'm consciously walking with spirit throughout the day. And if my finger slips off my nose and I forget, let me train my mind sufficiently that I remember that I've forgotten and put my finger back on my nose. And it should become quite obvious the very first time that your mind seems to be not at peace out there in the world. Oh shit, my mind's not at peace. Put my finger back on my nose, rededicate my day to peace. And you train your mind to do that again and again and again so that it just becomes an automatic action. I mean, we only have Zoom meeting once a week. I used to sit with my teacher every day, 4 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. Perhaps I was just kind of like stupid. I don't know. I was just a slow learner.
How I feel.
Right, but that's good that you can see that you feel that way. Right, because it brings the emphasis for greater discipline. Any spiritual path requires discipline. All mind training requires discipline. If you were to enter into a monastic sort of setting, you know, and become like a Buddhist monk or something, you would be forced by their curriculum into a fashion of discipline. You'd have to get up at 4 in the morning, do your mantras and all of that sort of stuff, and you go to breakfast at like 5:30, and you get one meal a day, and you sleep on a hard bed, and then you do service, and then you do all these sorts of things, go to lectures and whatever. And that's a discipline. And you become kind of indoctrinated in it, which in a sense is good, and in a sense is also not good, because the spirit must be free. Right?
Yeah, I think
But
I'm letting go a lot of times, but I'm not. I think I will be.
Right. Thinking about it and letting go is two different things, isn't it, Emily? Thinking about letting go and actually letting go, it's a whole nother thing. But that's good. Good. Claire, can you do the next one, please?
I do have to go. Love you guys.
Okay, that's cool.
Peace.
Thank you. Good. Find the decision. It's right behind you. That decision is right behind you in your consciousness there. Turn around, you'll see it. Good.
I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Insane thoughts are upsetting. They produce a world in which there is no order anywhere. Only chaos rules the world. Which represents chaotic thinking. And chaos has no laws. Like, I cannot live in peace in such a world.
You see that block right there? There's the block. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not anything, it's just a block, it's just energy. It's why we're here. The mind becomes fixated on validating the world. The mind becomes fixated on the stories of the world. And those stories become a form of reality. And Jesus is always saying, just come over here. Just come and look at it this way. Just come and look at it through this portal. And I'm here
Fed up
like,
of seeing it through these eyes. Fed up of seeing it through these eyes.
Right. But that's what you tell yourself, Claire. You tell yourself you're tired of seeing it through those eyes. But that's not really the case. Because look at the experience you're having right now. This is the experience that you want. I see it through these eyes and it devastates me. I see the world through eyes of separation and it makes me upset. But that's what I want, because that validates who I think I am. So rather than being tired of seeing it through those eyes, right, instead of fighting the old system, simply look through the new eyes. And that's a decision. I choose to see through the eyes of Christ. Otherwise, I'm going to tell my story again and again how I'm tired of seeing through the old eyes rather than actually seeing through the eyes of Christ. And it's a simple decision. But making that decision usually always looks like what you're experiencing now, that emotional upheaval. It's like any kind of addict, alcoholism, drugs, whatever. I'm never drinking again, I'm never drinking again. Well, instead of telling the story of I'm never drinking again, just don't drink. And that's a mindset, that's a state of mind. And that's what we're all choosing. All of us here are choosing that. And all of us will go through the undoing in exactly the same way. I choose to see. I got to the point where the world destroyed me, completely destroyed me. The injustice, the starvation of little children in Africa, all the like in the 80s, that was my massive The biggest famine the world had ever known. That was my massive catalyst. It absolutely destroyed me. That 11,000 babies in Africa were dying every day, and I always had a full plate of food, and they were dying of starvation, and I couldn't understand it. I was a teenage boy, and the world was so unfair. I hated the world. And I hated the stories of the world. It just made no sense. The haves and the have-nots, the right and the rights and the wrongs, you know, the justice and injustice. I hated it. How is the world like this? Why is the world like this? But I didn't know at that stage there was another way to see it. I didn't know that there was something else to choose for. And it was quite almost a decade until Jesus finally said, "Are you ready yet? Are you ready to see through my eyes rather than your own?" My answer was pretty damn quick. Yes, Lord. I want to see the truth instead of this. Can you see that action in your mind, Claire?
No.
Instead of choosing not to see the world as you see it now, choose only to see it through Christ's vision. Otherwise, you're verifying the way you see it now. The ego thrives on verification. All those thoughts in your mind, "I don't want to see the world this way," verifies that you're seeing the world this way. "I'm tired of seeing the world as a terrible place," verifies the terrible place.
It
The
doesn't
meaning of the
feel
word,
like that. It feels like I want to see with Christ's vision and I can't. It
right,
feels like that. I know that can't be true, but that's
right,
what it feels like. I can't. I see separation because obviously I want it there. I,
right. So if you
and
think,
that's devastating.
if you think you can't, it's because of one thing only. You've already decided what you think Christ's vision ought to be. And you're always going to be wrong. Because there is no obstacle, there is no barrier to seeing with the vision of Christ. None. There's no such thing as can't. It either is or it isn't. I'm either seeing with Christ's vision or I'm not. And all the stories about how I can't verify that I'm not. And that's a mindset. And you'll entertain those stories again. "I can't do it. I seem to be this. This seems to be impossible. I can't. But that's why this is A Course in Miracles. I'm going to choose for Christ's vision, and I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm going to choose to see through the eyes of Christ, and I have no idea how that's going to come about. I'm just going to say yes. And I'm going to let the Spirit do what the Spirit needs to do, and me do what I need to do. Right? Give unto God which is God's, and Caesar which is Caesar's. I'm just going to put my pants on every day the same way, eat my breakfast, go out and do whatever I do, and I'm going to leave the Spirit to sort everything else out. Because I'm the one that got myself into this pickle. And I'm damn sure I don't want to use the same kind of mentality that got me into this pickle to try and get me out of it, because I might probably end up getting myself into a worse pickle. That's why this is mind training. I don't want to use that mind anymore. My thoughts are meaningless. I've just read that my thoughts are meaningless and that I can listen to the thoughts for God in my own mind instead. I don't even know how to do that, but I'm in a process of learning. But one of the things that I have to learn is not to give any value to my thoughts. I can't do this. I don't know how to do that. I can't release this. I don't know how to release. Of course you don't. If you did, you would have done it already. Thank God you don't know how to do this. Now you can learn to be miracle-minded about it. I don't know how to see with the vision of Christ. I'm going to need a miracle for that. I'm going to need something else to occur that's nothing to do with my own thoughts about being able to see or not being able to see. Something entirely out of the spectrum of my awareness in its entirety. Right? In other words, take your hands off the wheel. Stop trying to control everything. Just let it happen. I don't know how to let it happen. Good. And you'll keep coming back to that point again and again and again. And that's a good thing. You'll see it again and you'll get so frustrated with yourself that finally you'll say, fuck it. And you'll mean it. Fuck it, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I'm at this place where I just can go no further. I'm going to have to let go and let God. And everybody comes to that place. It's like the crossroads. But that idea that I think I know what Christ's vision is the only way that I would be able to tell myself the story that I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to see with Christ's vision. And I'll give it to you really simply. Turn and look at your sister. You see a body. You see a face and the eyes and the same familiar things you've already seen all your life. That's just the costume. Behind that costume is a divine being animating that flesh suit. A being of light that's exactly the same as you, a spirit. Look past the physical. Try to remember who is truly there in front of you. That's what you're asking to see. I choose to see this instead of the flesh. I choose to see the spirit. Now, you don't know how to see that. You can just be willing. I am willing to see beyond the story, beyond the appearance. But first you have to realize that you're not willing. That you have chosen for separation. And that's going to be the humbling place. That's going to be the place where the house of cards all comes crashing down. And that's good. I'm happy about that. Just let it happen. Michael, can you do the next one, please?
Yeah.
That's good, Claire. That's a good place to be. Just stay there. Try not to adjust to it.
This is 13, right?
I think so. Good.
A meaningless world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable and offers no grounds for trust. Nothing in madness is dependable. It holds out no safety and no hope. But such a world is not real. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it. Now I choose to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality. I choose this. In choosing this, I will escape all the effects of the world of fear because I am acknowledging that it does not exist.
Good. The true disciple. Thank you. Tina, can you read the next one?
Yeah. Oh.
And then Ali.
Yeah. Oh. 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 Oh, God did not create a meaningless world. Oh man.
It's good when you take it personally, isn't it? It's like
Oh. 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 How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? Oh, oh, He's the source. Oh, 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 He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in His mind. It is in my mind too, because He created it with me. Oh, why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation is my home? Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide.
good. Ali.
I don't have a workbook.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We'll go to Arlene then. And then Deb. Did you do one already, Deb? Okay, yep. Go for it, Arlene. You have to unmute the microphone.
Oh my God. Okay.
You You know, the angels look at us and they think how beautiful we all are.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, God did not create a meaningless world. How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in his mind. It is in my mind too. I think I'm reading. Am I reading the wrong?
That's okay. That's okay. You are, but keep reading.
Oh God. Okay. It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation is my home? Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide.
Good. Deb? And then Chitra. Good. Good. That's better, isn't it? Look at that. Look at you go. Oh, yeah. That's up against the veil. You know what that is? That's the edge of consciousness,
fucking
right there where
terrible.
you are. Right. That's going to get worse and worse. I mean, it'll get better and better as far as it gets worse and worse. The less you examine it and the less you try to interfere with it and just let it happen, the more it's going to happen. And that's a good thing. It's kind of awkward in public, but that's the presence and the activation of spirit. Good. Yes, feel that. Emily, pay attention. This will be you when you come to Australia. You got the same ray association as Deb. Exactly the same one. Good.
My thoughts are images that I have made.
Breathe.
Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I am not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against Him, because it is not my will that they do so. My will is His. And I will place no other gods before Him.
Good. Chitra, I'd like you to stand up, Chitra, when you read this. Hold your book up. Lift your book up in front of you more. Like this. Yeah, lift it up. That's it. Take a
I
breath.
have no neutral thoughts. Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power.
Good.
They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts cannot be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see shows me which they are.
Good. Read the next one, please. Standing up again.
I
Take a
see
breath.
no neutral.
Stop. Stop. Take a breath. Deep breath. Feel that breath within you. Good. You're reading this to yourself, not to me, not to the room. Good. And then Carl after Chitra.
What I see witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Let me look on the world as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change. And so I also know the world I see can change as well.
Good. Carl?
I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing.
You got your camera on there?
Good.
And Edward, can you put your camera on?
If I have no private thoughts, I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everybody. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine.
That's called skimming off the surface, Carl. You're not letting that in. There's a place where you recognize the familiarity of those words or the message that those words represent, and you hold it at bay to continue reading the message. There was 2 or 3 times when you were reading that you felt the reality of it. I want you to read it one more time. And you're learning to become aware of those subtle energies, those subtle frequencies within you, which actually are the calling of the Spirit. Because everything is the Spirit. Everything is the activity of Spirit. And I want you to read it again. Where's Connor? Oh, he's gone. But like with Connor, read it from an empty place. And when it harmonizes and when it vibrates with you, when you relate to it, let that happen. Don't worry about the reading. You've already experienced what unconditional love is. And now you're simply truing up to that. You've been pointed in the right direction, and you're learning to feel the calling of that direction within you. You're learning to feel the calling of Spirit within you. I don't care if this whole Zoom meeting stops. You're the most important person in the room. You're the most important person reading this lesson, because within you is the unlocking of that lesson. But you've got to let it in fully. Let it affect you. When you're ready, go for it.
I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing.
Good.
I have no private thoughts. I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see.
There it is.
Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everybody. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn in their sight as well as mine.
After the Zoom meeting, take that lesson out to your patio where you're overlooking the trees and the bush and read it again several times.
I was out there before and I was getting attacked by horseflies.
Oh. We don't have those here, luckily.
No.
we have flies, just regular flies. Well, maybe sit somewhere inside looking out the window, but face the outside. Okay? And read it as a kind of a meditation, as a kind of a reflection. And let it in deeply. Read it several times, because there are layers and layers in that lesson. Right? And the place of resistance is where one layer crosses over to the next, or one layer becomes the next. Because the comfort zone is in the first layer, in the layer where you read it conceptually. Breaking through that comfort zone is allowing yourself to experience that lesson on a deeper level. And you've touched on it. You can see it there. In your consciousness, you can see it, that it has greater parameters than the actual initial reading. I want you to just let yourself experience that. Go fully into it. Even if you sit there all day, I don't care. And I don't care if you care. Edward, can you read the next one, please?
Is it number 20?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh.
Good.
I am determined to see. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear. I would behold the proof
Good.
laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. There's so much in that. That's a, that's a, that's a lifetime right there.
It's a moment.
Mm. And abundance to replace loss. Wow. I'm kind of done, but I'll finish it off. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one. Help me, Father. I need help.
The help is already within you. You know, we started this meeting with the idea of give it away to witness to it. What you have within you, you will see by the action of giving it away. And the action, I don't know how to put it, what would you call it? The motto of St. Francis, if he had a motto, was that in giving we receive. It is in giving that we receive.
But I don't see what's coming up. How it's so dense and
Right.
so unending. I mean, it comes up and then it's just replaced by more, and
Good.
it's replaced by more. It's been going
Good.
on for for over a year. That's why I was guided to you with this space out of praying for it, and it still just keeps coming up and more and more. I feel the peace. I feel the light shining, the nugget, the sphere, as Teddy called it in this recent lesson. The spheres singing, but there's just so much more of this. It seems like endless. So I'm in it for the long run until it's not there or I leave. But I don't know. So I'm yes, back to this.
I'm glad you don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to know. I keep telling I get in these discussions with people and just stuff comes up and people say, wow, that's powerful stuff. And I walk away not wanting to know, not wanting to say powerful stuff, not wanting to influence anybody, just find the peace and love in my heart. And I hear what's being said is to want it is not to have it, it's just to be it, to extend it. And the only place that I can really find that's peaceful is this little like this little it's a
Yep.
speck. It's a speck
Yep.
of singing light. It seems like it's singing, It's just
Yep.
sing. It's just going and going. And if I just go there, sometimes I can stay there, but all this stuff starts happening and it's like then it's moving around. Then there's one that comes up over here. And
Good.
and I just got to come back to this denseness, this being with the denseness. It's just the strangest stuff. But I'm I say I'm so over it. Like I even think that's a trick. Oh, I'm so
That is a
over this.
trick.
I just want to get out of here. I just don't want to be. I don't want. I even think that it's a trick that's given. Like you don't ever have to come back here. I think that's a trick. Like I think uh, maybe when we follow that, we get the peace and we leave. We actually want to come back to be of service more. Uh, anyway, none of that matters. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lord.
That's a true thing. The light is in you. The light is that speck. Some people see it as forward and up, and some people feel it as back. Like when you put your hand towards the back of your head there, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And sometimes, because this is so dense over here, but
Yep.
sometimes there's one that comes in over here like this. Or maybe it just the denseness goes away because of a teacher I studied before said fixity of focus is the whole thing, the awareness of the awareness and the fixity of focus and what you focus on. And so like, yeah, when I left my body, I was just out in nothingness, darkness, and all I was aware of was this intense tone. But then in my mind's eye was my body getting consumed by a serpent or a lion or something. And poof, I was back in it. I think I was back in it out of compassion, like I felt sorry for it. And then it's been madness ever since.
That's
I
true.
just want to go back to that. I didn't see light or anything. It was just full on darkness. It was behind me. Well, but I wasn't even my body. I don't know what I was. I was awareness.
Right.
And but then as soon as I saw that and whatever out there in the darkness, it was like a fog. It was like a old black and white movie. And I saw this face, and the rest of my body was already consumed by a serpent, and just his face was in agony, like this. Poof. I was back in it, and then it's been a rocky road. And I can feel going back here. Sometimes I get there and I can stay there. Well, not to where I was, whatever I was, but it's there. But then all this, like, it's energy. They say it's clouds. He says it's clouds, but I tell you, the clouds are pretty intense.
Yep.
They're pretty intense. And they don't just dissolve. They're like where he says the turning and the it's just madness. It's just boom. You try and stay in that fixity of focus on the speck of singing light. It's but I want to be there. Well, but that's a
Right.
want, right?
Yep.
I guess if I wanted to be there, I'd be there.
That's right.
But I'm not strong enough. I think he says that in the course. He says you've strengthened your weakness instead of strengthening your strength. And you'll know you don't know how much you want to strengthen your strength. And I've spent, long time until this last few years when all this other stuff started happening, and I went into full on madness. But then I went through prayer, and poof, I was up in that space, and I had that experience. But I realized I've been strengthening my weakness, and that's why I can't stay there. So I just have to keep practice strengthening my strength. And the pronouns are understandably not, but so it's just as a fixity, a focus on that. But I tell you, the dense clouds that just keep coming up are yeah. I was walking across the highway going to the grocery store, and I went to this other one. I walked across this overpass, just a 6-lane here in San Jose, and my mind just went, oh man, it'd be so easy to just climb that fence and throw myself right down on those cars.
Yep.
Because it's just constant. Even when I get up,
Yep.
now that I stopped smoking, that was madness in and of itself. Though that's been a relief. Like I knew it would, but anyway. So yeah. Excuse me.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That's why we're here.
I want it. I want it, and I understand all this other garbage. You want. Oh, it's such a distraction.
Yep.
So trying to use the words to explain, to share, but I'm glad I found the group. I've been scared about, certain, or the fear has been coming up, and I don't know anything about blue avatars. I don't want to know anything about blue avatars. I just want to be in heaven. I don't want to go up some ladder. I don't want to. Hey, that's why I believe. I believe what he's saying is, call upon me as your guide, and I can do things for you. And I don't. I love Teddy. I watch his stuff. I love. I say I love, but no, I feel something there for all you all. But I just want Jesus. You know, I call out to Jesus. I want Jesus sitting on my couch. You say he's sitting on your couch. I'm like, geez, why can't he, sit on my couch? You know, what am I doing wrong? So that's because I don't want any of this other stuff. I don't know anything about Jacob's Ladder or Blue Avatars or anything else. All I want, I've fallen down so many. I've followed different teachers, and I know that's why my thing is, naive and gullible. I know I don't know, and I just need help. So I guess I just got to go through the crash and the annihilation. And the only way to go through the annihilation is to become that speck of if I followed the song of prayer, is to become that singing, I've been in that space before where all these like tones just started lighting up around me, and they were pounding on the walls and in this house where I was doing a bathroom remodel, and I would go into this every night. And so, man, that I think that's what they call mighty companions. They're just coming out. All these tones are just coming out, and you're in this song of prayer. I never became the song because I couldn't stay up there. I came back down into the body. But I'm rambling. I'm sorry, guys.
That's cool. You have
Thank
to
you all.
include the body, Edward.
The body goes up.
Absolutely. It's a physical resurrection.
Oh, but what? Oh, so obviously, just all this density needs to wash away. It's just
No. See what you're doing there?
No.
You're trying to write your own show.
Okay.
Obviously, this needs to happen. Obviously, that needs to happen. Stay in the place where I have no clue what needs to happen. This has to be miraculous. I need a miracle.
Amen. Amen.
I need a miracle. Because lesson 10, my thoughts don't mean anything. As soon as I have a thought that intrudes on that empty space, that's why we have mind training. Right? My thoughts don't mean anything. I've experienced the light, or I've experienced the resonance, I've experienced the song of prayer, whatever it is, it'll appear to you and manifest to you as it may be similar, may be different to everybody. Right? Everyone's going to have some kind of a thing that's going to give them a non-temporal experience. It's like when I had my experience, I didn't want to be back here. I wanted to be in the light. I wanted to be my true self. I was the light and the light was me. Just beautiful and warm and ever extending, and just this incredible thing. Oneness. I didn't want to be back here. I had the same thing. I had this intense density, this intense ignorance, which is what that is. Those clouds are ignorance. And I had to go through that whole process of forgiveness. And Ted was a big part of that for me, but I had to go through that whole process of forgiveness, releasing my mind from its addiction to wanting to dabble with the density. I still want it. I see that I still want the world. I want the good things about the world, and I don't want the bad things about the world.
Oh, tell me about it. I watched the son
Right.
last night with my son. The It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. And
Right.
Donna Reed.
Right. So you know it exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just sobbing.
You're here to help.
But I knew, you understand. It calls it understanding. It's not mastery. So I understand, and I'm willing. I say, I lay down. This is your life. It's your life. I give it to you. I give it to you, and things will happen. Like I was praying, coming home from the grocery store, like, oh Lord, are you with me? And I look up and I see. At first, I hear this music. I don't even know what it is, and I look up and I see coming at me a paraplegic in a wheelchair with a boom box on his lap and some music's playing. And this is right after my prayer. I've walked, maybe a mile praying, Lord, I feel, like, and it's a song, a familiar song. What is the song? And it's Led Zeppelin, and well, the lyrics I heard I didn't hear any lyrics until, and here's this, quadriplegic in the thing, motorized scooter with the thing, and it says, "I will never, never, never leave you." And I can't remember what Led Zeppelin song it was, but those are the only lyrics. Those are the only time in that the song is "I will leave you," and "I will never,
Ramble
never
on.
leave you" is only at one little fraction part of the song, and it happens right when the guy's motoring by me. He's going good 10 miles an hour fast. It's just like zing. So I know, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I didn't know I was going to share this.
Good. Stay in that place. I don't know.
Thank you.
Everything in the past, all the experiences, and the spiritual experiences are the hardest ones to let go of. You know?
Okay.
They become useful as stories to help others who are beginning their own navigation, etc., and all that kind of thing. But generally, I look at them as like, well, that happened in the past. It's already gone and over. Now, that story is no longer useful to me because my ego's just going to want to make another identity out of it. Someone who heard this or someone who had this kind of thing. But it might be helpful to someone else. And you'll find that what goes on in your mind through the process of transformation is you're going to forget about all the things that you don't need to remember. And there's going to be the stuff in there and it just comes up when you need it. You know, your life becomes the witness to other people. Your stories, your testimony, your experience becomes the sort of guide stones for your brothers. A lot of people, when I tell them things and they'll say, "Oh man, I had that same kind of thing happen," right? All of a sudden, they're not alone in their madness. They're not alone in trying to figure it out. And I've met people that have had experiences of being out of their body that haven't had A Course in Miracles, and it sends them bonkers. You know, and I was the same way. I would have gone completely batshit crazy if it wasn't for Ted and the Course and all the brothers.
I'm telling you, when I heard that story you told about waiting for the bathroom and someone was talking about worms and stuff, and you were going through your thing, I forget which one it was, but I'm telling you, this stuff that's coming up over my, it's under my skin, but it's against whatever my soul. I don't understand the makeup of the body, but this stuff that's coming up over me, and then I go into releases and it releases, and I feel twitching and all this. I was freaking out. Freaking out, but then I listened to a couple of your socket songs, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." You know, that came after a desperate prayer that I found your channel via Tina, via Teddy's Poppy, who I met Victoria Poppy, and she connected me to Teddy, and I met Victoria through the Miracle Voices podcast, which I met through. What's the guy's name who did the Course in Miracles? Bill Thetford, and who I met through Carol Howe. All these links, and it took me. I'm coming, and as things are getting more intensing and more crazy. Like, what is this stuff coming up on me? You know, because I was just letting go technique of David Hawkins, and it was pretty mellow. It's pretty mellow. Pretty soon it got crazy, and as I came more, built that for Teddy Poppy, and then bing, David Fair, because it was pretty maddening, dude. It's maddening, the stuff that's coming up. It's like I don't even like to want to talk about it because I don't want other people to enter their mind, you know, like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Edward, my brother, Lisa here. I want to extend something to you that came to me.
Okay.
When I was lost in my mind, when all the spiritual stuff came up, and this, are you willing to let that go for the truth? Are you willing to let it go for the truth?
Well, I say I am, but you know what? Then now I'm a liar. My father was a liar. His father. So like I got all this stuff going.
Just stay in it. Stay in it.
I'm willing
Stay
to
in the
let it go.
willingness to let it go. Yeah, for the truth.
but it's hanging on. It's hanging
No,
on
no, no,
every
no, no,
day.
no. No, no.
Same.
Ready?
Same.
Come back to what Lissy's asking. Are you willing to let it go? It's yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes. Yes.
Good. Now stay there. Good. The reaction that you have to the light is the light looking for you. I think it was Rumi that said, what you are looking for is looking for you. It's a magnetic attraction. The addiction seems to be to wanting to turn that magnet around again and again, to see the repulsion, to see it push away, and making up a story about that. But the attraction is there nonetheless. All of the mind training of the course simply removes the obstacles, simply removes the reasons that we give ourselves to want to dabble in that idea of healing, as if it has anything to do with us at all. Because it doesn't. It's totally out of my hands, totally out of your hands. I just say yes to the Lord and I stay still. I just be still. The past doesn't matter. My thoughts about it don't matter. All my things that have occurred to me, everything I think about the me that seems to be in the physical doesn't matter. I let it go, and it's going to come back. But I train myself to let it go again and again and again. Eventually, my mind begins to understand what I'm trying to do. You work the program until it works you. And it does look like madness. It does look like wanting to throw yourself over a cliff sometimes. Especially if you've had an experience that's so profound or shifting enough that you don't have a way to bridge the gap between where you find yourself and where the experience seems to have taken you. The bridge between the two worlds. It's like it's a bridge of healing. It's a bridge of forgiveness, and that's what we focus on. My focus is forgiveness. My focus is my purpose. My focus is removing all those blocks, learning through miracle mindedness to become revelation ready. When I had my experience, I found myself back in the room after that, half an hour after that experience, even though the experience only lasted 3 or 4 seconds if I had to time it. But half an hour had gone by. The difference in how time is perceived in instantaneousness, and I can't even talk about it. It's so far beyond my understanding. And I'm just going to let it be that way. It is beyond my understanding. All of this has to occur by the grace of God. Everything by the grace of God. And all I've got is my yes. That's it. Give up the world and follow me. Yes, Lord. Not yes, but I have these problems. Not yes, but I seem to not want to. Or not yes, but anything. Yes, Lord. Because like you said, Edward, I'm the liar and the son of a liar, and my father before me was a liar. And every word that proceeds from the mouth of man is a lie. Lesson 10, my thoughts don't mean anything. I've got no choice but to let go and let God and live from the Spirit. Like the wind, one day here, one day there, this and that. And I have to train my mind to accept that. Otherwise, I'm going to get caught up in the cycles of my own thinking again and again and again. But as my mind training becomes stronger, I recognize those cycles of my own thinking and I bring myself out of it. It's like, no, hang on a minute. I'm going to let God take care of this, not me. And I fall into prayer, living prayer. Anna, can you read the next one, please? And then Carolyn and Gay. And then Natasha and Dana. We've still got a few to go. Good.
I am determined to see things differently. What I see now are but signs of disease, disaster, and death. This cannot be what God created for his beloved Son. The very fact that I see such things is proof that I do not understand God. The very fact that I see such things is proof that I do not understand God. Therefore, I also do not understand his Son. What I see tells me that I do not know who I am. I am determined to see the witnesses to the truth in me, rather than those which show me an illusion of myself.
Carolyn.
10 minutes ago. I've just arrived.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Right off the press. What I see is a form of vengeance. The world I see is hardly the representation of loving thoughts. It is a picture of attack on everything, by everything. It is anything but a reflection of the love of God and the love of his Son. It is anything but a reflection of the love of God and the love of his Son.
Is that true for you?
what I want it to be true all the time. Yes.
But do you see it as anything but a reflection of the love of God and love of his son?
Yeah.
Because the course is specific and it's really relative. It finds you individually wherever you are, and whatever your perception or harmonic in the world is, it picks you up exactly there. It's no accident you're reading that lesson.
It flicked through my mind a bit earlier that I don't want to take up space. I caught the thought that I don't want to take up any space when I was about to be reading.
Right.
Good to notice. It is my own attack thoughts that give rise to this picture. My loving thoughts will save me from this perception of the world. And give me the peace God intended me to have.
Good. Okay.
I can escape from the world by giving up attack thoughts. Herein lies my salvation, and nowhere else. Without attack thoughts, I could not see a world of attack. As forgiveness allows love to return to my awareness, I will see a world of peace and safety and joy. And it is this that I choose to see. It's in place of what I look on now.
Good. Dana?
I do not perceive my own best interest. Could I recognize my own best interests and I do not know who I am?
Stop. Put the book down for a second. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the invitation to the Spirit. There's a temptation in recovery to form a perspective for oneself that, oh, I'm okay now. I'm all good now, thanks very much. And from that point, all subsequent effort tends to be tainted with lip service. But I always remind myself, this is constant recovery. Until the memory of my Father, until the memory of my true self dawns upon my mind, my heart must remain open completely all the time to feeling everything, to letting in everything. I'm atoning for my whole world, not just for a period of time where I think it gets me out of my shit. But that atonement transfers and transposes and transforms into a sense of service, into that sense of giving. I just want to give. I'm here for giving through an action of forgiveness. But there's a kind of a stepping stone there where when somebody's in recovery and they've been clean for a period of time, they tend to form this opinion, oh, I'm good now. And as soon as you do that, the gate closes on recovery. And then that, I forget the saying, but it's like the first step into hell is a slippery slope. And it's an awareness. It's an awareness of oneself. So when I read this, even now, like this has been 28, 29 years since the course was given to me, even now when I read it, it's alive. These words are alive because I have a use for them. I give them the life. They connect with something in me. I've written this course. I've authored it as spirit, and it's calling me home. It seems to be a tangible part of my spiritual journey. Prior to finding the course, I lived by the rule of my heart. I made a decision at some point in my life, in my early 20s, I was never going to do anything again that didn't bring me happiness. I wasn't going to take a job. I wasn't going to have a circle of friends. If it didn't bring me happiness and if it didn't fulfill me as far as like how I felt my life should be, I didn't want to know about it. And following the heart led me from one painful situation to another until finally it brought me to the training of the mind, the retraining and the disciplining of the mind, where heart and mind can come together. But that's not a temporary joining or temporary injunction. That's something that becomes solid. There's a section in the course where Jesus says, you will recognize those who walk the world like you. You will recognize them. When I first read that, I used to think to myself, oh, I wonder what they're going to look like. Maybe they'll wear hippie pants like I used to wear. Maybe they'll have dreadlocks like I used to have, and I'll recognize them that way. But it's like, no, I recognize them by feeling them. I feel that presence. I feel that signature. I feel that harmonic. When I first started watching Ali's videos the other week, man, they hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt them. They came from the truth of her heart. They came from a totally open place. And it took me to a totally open place in me. They were a blessing. But I felt them. When you read these words, I want you to feel them. Don't read them with your eyes. Read them with your heart. Let them in fully. Let them affect you. Someone in recovery who's been through a deep period of recovery, the last thing they want to do is more recovery. It sucks. All this healing crap, it's the worst thing ever. But it doesn't shut off. It just transforms. Okay, so read that again. Take a deep breath and read it again. And then Natasha.
Mhm. I do not perceive my own best interests.
Good.
How could I recognize my own best interests when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests would merely bind me closer to the world of illusions.
Stop. Take a deeper breath. You're reading this to yourself. There's no one else here. Read it for the first time. I've never read this before. There is only this moment. Start again.
Could I recognize my own best interests when I do not know who I am? What I
Good.
think are my best interests would merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I am willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests
Stop.
Rec-
Close your eyes. Take a breath. I want you to slow down your reading. Just slow it down. This is not about getting to the end of the lesson. Connect with it. Really connect with it. Make it personal. When you're ready.
I'm willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself.
All right, good. Now read that again. Read that line again.
I'm willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself.
Keep going.
You want me to do the next lesson?
Oh, that's the end of that lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to do the next lesson. Do the next one. Put the book down for a second, though. I want to do a little creative visualization, Dana. You up for that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want you to take yourself back a couple of thousand years. Anna, same thing. Joseph of Arimathea, good friend of Jesus, who lends his house to the disciples for the Last Supper. I want you to see yourself there. All those faces, all those people. Good. The breaking of the bread, the sharing of the wine. Good. Feeling it. You see how you're feeling that? It's an idea in your mind. Now read that lesson.
I do not know what anything is for. Me, the purpose of everything is to prove that my illusions about myself are real. It is for that purpose that I attempt to use everyone and everything. It is this that I believe the world is for. Therefore, I do not recognize its real purpose. The purpose I have given the world has led to a frightening picture of my mind, withdrawing the one I have given it, and learning the truth.
Now that creative visualization was an idea, just as salvation is an idea. But it's an idea that is predicated by purpose. Healing is my purpose. Healing is my function. Forgiveness is my function. It's all the same thing. But you have to feel to heal. Because cause and effect are not separate. The thoughts in my mind all have emotional counterparts. The cause has an effect. Now, just in our Zoom meeting, this is just like practice. This is like, let's just make some shit up and see where it goes. But out in the real world, it's like when Edward was crossing that bridge, he offered that prayer. The cause and effect was obvious. You get the results of your own thinking immediately. But because our minds operate in time, and we've trained ourselves to operate in time, it can often seem like the cause of my experience seems to be vastly separated from the effect of it by days or minutes or months or hours or whatever. But it's not true. I think I'm separate from God, but I'm not. I think that I'm traveling in dreams, but I'm not. Now, I can't reconcile the two. It's impossible. I have to let there be a bridge. I have to let there be some kind of miracle. And I only perceive that through my willingness to perceive it. And it's an emotional bridge. It's bringing my cause and my effect together to make them one thing, to realize that I'm not separate from my own self. When you apply that in meditation, it brings the sense of self that I think I am as an individual, as a person, as a body, as an avatar or whatever I think I am here, into direct conflict. We'll call it conflict, it's not really conflict, into direct comparison with the experience of my true self, which often appears as a little pinpoint of light or a reaction to the light or some kind of experience of the light. Right? Now, those two things cannot be reconciled. One must be transformed into the other. You can't just let go of your body. It has to be transformed. You cannot transcend it. You'll just end up with another body in another lifetime in another thing. Okay? So when I say to you, do you want to do a little creative visualization? The visualization has nothing to do with it. It's your yes. It's the same thing as saying, do you want to remember the truth of yourself? But it has to be presented to you in a way that you can logically understand through the application of healing. Because as you witness to the idea of your own healing, it becomes tangible and real to you that something's going on. If you had no witnesses to the process within yourself, I'd tell you, well, throw the book away, go try something else. But I know that you've already had witnesses to the truth of the book in you, to the truth of the application in you. Right? The ego is very cunning, suspicious, vicious, and baffling, and it will rebuild its identification with the false self at every tick of the clock as often as it can. Oh, I'm Dana, and I had this experience, and I've recovered from that, and now I'm blah, blah, blah. That's what you're learning to become aware of. No, I'm not. I'm not any of that stuff. I had an experience of seeing Jesus on the cross that was as real to me as the emotionality that you just experienced for yourself in that creative visualization. It's all just mind. I saw the nail in his feet, the blood dripping to the ground, and it tore me to pieces. It totally destroyed me. Because I knew in that moment that I'd denied Christ. I'd turned away. Who else is with this man? I turned away. But it only destroyed me emotionally. And I call it destroyed. We talk about it as the death of the ego, a destructive process, whatever. But it's really transforming. It's really something that transforms, and it continues to transform. It's self-purifying. It's a process that of itself knows what it's doing. It's divine, and it's an action of divinity within, and we're learning to simply cooperate with it by basically getting out of the way and being aware when we try to reconstruct a new identity based on our spiritual premises. I'm not a spiritual anything. I'm not a teacher of God. I am what that is. I am love, and so are you. But the opening to that and the remembering of that, oh man, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, a big Band-Aid. But you feel it and feel it and feel it. Eventually you learn to equate that feeling with joy. Right? The ego labels it. The ego says, oh, well, I don't feel good. Well, stop listening to your ego and just feel the raw feeling. Because if God is everything, what is it then that I'm actually feeling? It must be the presence of God within me. If God is everything, it's only my ego that says, I don't like how I'm feeling. This is too much for me. I can't take it anymore. Well, stop defining it. Stop giving it a name. Stop giving it a meaning with your meaningless, empty, nothing thoughts, and just let it be there. And it is the activity of spirit within. The process of realizing that, though, is often quite uncomfortable. It's like trying to fit an elephant into a matchbox.
There's an undeserving feeling also.
Right.
I don't deserve this love.
Right, exactly. That's the denial.
Is that what the denial means?
Well, of course it is. If God is everything, what's the one thing that you must be therefore denying? Love. And it can only be love of self, self-love. You're learning to love yourself, learning to accept yourself exactly as you are.
When you said that, I was thinking back to Jesus and the Last Supper, but then I realized it's happening right here. Like,
this is it. Exactly.
Yeah,
This is it.
I'm just so grateful.
Thank you, Father. It's all just an idea. God is an idea. It's not something separate from myself. It's not something, let's keep my finger on my nose. I am that. All right, where are we gone? Claire and Natasha. Where's Natasha? Are you the last one? Is Natasha the last one? Oh, and Francine. So we'll do Francine after.
Mm-hmm.
My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability.
How dare Jesus tell me that?
How can I know who I am when I see myself as under constant attack? Pain, illness, loss, age, and death seem to threaten me. All my hopes and wishes and plans appear to be at the mercy of a world I cannot control.
Thank God.
I still try.
Oh, well, you know.
Yet perfect security and complete fulfillment are my inheritance. I have tried to give my inheritance away in exchange for the world I see. But God has kept my inheritance safe for me. My own real thoughts will teach me what it is.
Good. Francine.
Above, my microphone is on, Donald. Above all else, I want to see. Recognizing that what I see reflects what I think I am. I realize that vision is my greatest need. The world I see attests to the fearful nature of the self-image I have made. If I would remember who I am, it is essential that I let this image of myself go. As it is replaced by truth, vision will surely be given me. And with this vision, I will look upon the world and upon myself with charity and love.
Good. Vision will surely be given me. Now, what's that going to look like? No clue. How's that supposed to happen? No clue. But if I formulate an idea of what I think vision might be, I'm going to be getting in the way. I need to let it be itself. Right, and where's Edward? Edward was saying about the blue avatars and whatever, and Jacob's ladder and that. And that may, for each of you, that may or may not be part of your experience through the transformation of your own individual association. You'll have your own experiences. You'll have your own things that sort of show you that there's something else going on here. Okay? What happens is that all those experiences are perfectly orchestrated for your own transformative process to help you let the image of yourself that you think you are go. Right? And it's not that it's even that you need the help in it. It's a self-occurring process. It's already happening. Your willingness to participate with it simply lubricates the sides. It helps it occur more quickly, more fluidly, without less bumps and friction. Right? The whole process is time now going backwards. But with my participation with it, with my collaboration, which is nothing more than me really getting out of the way, that can happen much more quickly. Jesus talks about it as the celestial speed up, where we're learning to collapse time by allowing for what's already happening to happen without us interfering in it. Right? One lesson learned properly can substitute for learning that may have taken thousands of years. It's like, well, what's that meant to look like? I don't know. But if I keep putting my pointy brain in there trying to decide what I think it's going to look like, I'm not learning the lesson. I've got to let go and let God, let it happen. You know? I remember doing a big meditation one day. I've told you you guys this story before, but I was doing a big meditation one day with Ted in the healing center, and usually afterwards I would like to either go down the beach and just chill out, float in the ocean for a while, because it would be so full on. The energy would be so full on. It was like I felt like I needed to get back in my body or realign with my body or something. I couldn't even tell you what the feeling was. Just like being discombobulated. And this one day I was walking up the street, and during the meditation, Ted's focus of his whole talk that day prior to the meditation was seeing true vision, Christ's vision, seeing the truth of your brother, not the body, seeing beyond the body. And I walked up the street, and I was going up to the coffee shop or something, and there was all these people walking towards me. And I had this beautiful feeling in my heart and this beautiful thought in my mind. And I'm like, wow, these are all my brothers. All these people walking towards me, these are all my brothers in Christ. And then all of a sudden, they all faded out. The whole scene, the whole street, all the shops, the trees, the sky, the planet, everything faded out to this kind of almost neutral grey colour. I could still see the shapes in the shops and everything, but there was no colour. It had all faded away. And in the forehead of every person walking towards me was this brilliant point of white light. Brilliant point of white light. And I was shown, my brothers are not the bodies. My brothers are the animating force. My brothers are those spiritual beings. Now, Jesus tells me, you're not even really in the body. Right? But as a lesson presented, for me to recognize that my brother is not a body, I was shown that vision. And then as soon as I identified my brothers as being light and not the flesh, everything came back to normal. And I'm like, I get it. That's the vision of Christ. I want to see the light in my brother. I want to see the truth of my brother, not his body and not the story about it. I want to see beyond that to the cosmic traveler that has come to this world, if you like, with me, playing their part for me perfectly. Now, what's that going to look like individually? No clue. But I have to keep my mind open. I have to keep my mind open to the possibility that whatever is next, whatever spirit leads me to or would have me see, is going to be on the terms of spirit, not on my own terms. That's the whole mind training. Thy will, not my will. And in that, I choose the second place to gain the first. I choose God's will for me, which is perfect happiness. In this world, I've got no idea how to be perfectly happy. I've so over-taught myself that my happiness comes in accumulation of things or validation or, fame or whatever. And all of that stuff sticks to my insides like sticky glue. I'm telling myself now with my spiritual learning, oh, that stuff's not what brings me happiness. But it doesn't mean it's not still stuck to my insides like sticky glue. And as I go about my day and things, it's like, who was it said that they saw that? Just before Francine, I think. Was it you? And you said, oh, I saw whatever. No, it wasn't Francine. Who was before Francine? Oh, Dana. You saw that unworthiness or whatever. That's the sticky glue. You've got Jesus on one hand telling you you're perfect and whole as God created you, and yet there's the sticky glue of an old story of the unworthiness of Dana, right? That's where you apply forgiveness. Forgiveness is like the solvent, dissolves that sticky glue away. That's probably not a great analogy either, but anyway. All right, any questions? No? That's good.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Can you touch on the dark night of the soul? Because it sounds like that's what Edward was going through, the dark night of the soul. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sounds like who's going through?
Like Edward was going through the dark night of the soul. What does that entail?
See what you're doing there? Suddenly there's an Edward who's going through something. Sounds like there's an Edward going through something that's... You know why you asked that question, Arlene? So you can build a better defense against the dark night of the soul.
But you said it so quickly, I was getting ready to say no. Me, and you said it. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Explain to me what I'm going through, dark night of the soul.
That's better. All right. And you know what? I'm not going to explain it to you.
I know.
Because that's just you looking to navigate a way out of it.
I know.
If I can understand this well enough, I'll just build a better defense against it. Because that's what the questioning mind does. All it does is build defenses.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh,
if it was up to me, I'd push you straight there into the dark night of the soul. But luckily, it's not up to me.
Oh my God! I walked right into that trap, didn't I?
You said it.
Oh, I know. I hear it, and I like. Oh my God! Here it goes. Thank you, love.
Right.
I knew you were going to set me straight. I appreciate that. Oh boy, that was. Thank you. Oh, I love you some fierce, brother. For telling the truth. I appreciate that. A swift kicking ass. I knew you was going to give it to me.
Is that what that was? I can feel it on my foot. That's going to be a big kick.
Oh my God. This is so luscious.
You know, the funny thing is you can't defend yourself against it no matter how much you try. You know, when you go, I don't know if any of you guys have ever made one of those homemade go-karts, and you got the little, you make a wooden lever on the side, and you sort of pull the wooden lever, and it goes against the back wheel to try and stop the go-kart, you know, and you got the little wooden thing at the front, and you push it with your feet, and you got the string, one of them old billy cart things, right? you go down a steep enough hill, those brakes don't work at all.
No.
You know, you tell yourself as a kid, oh, I've got brakes, I'll be okay. And it's not until you get halfway down the hill you realize that those stupid wooden brakes are
Oh my
useless.
God.
The only way you're going to stop that billy cart is to crash it into the gutter or something.
Oh.
Right? But you don't want to do that either, because you're going to wreck your billy cart and probably get all cut up on the road. So you have to try and ride it out to the end where the road gets flat and they're not going so fast. Right? But the potential to be able to do that is the certainty that you can do it.
Oh Lord.
And that's God's certainty in you, which is your own certainty.
Yes.
You're on the billy cart. You've already taken off from the top of the hill, which is what mind training is. You're halfway down the hill, and sometimes you want to try and put those brakes on. You realize it's pointless trying to put the brakes on. Those stupid brakes don't work. My big brother told me that this is the perfect idea for brakes, and nut. You want to put your feet on the road, and then you know your legs are going to buckle under you, and you're going to run over your legs with the back ankles, and you're going to be in all kinds of trouble. So you can't do that either. You've got no choice. You've got no choice but to go full pelt down the road and bam, get to the bottom.
Oh wow.
And that's all that's happening. And you're learning to laugh at yourself along the way. It's like, I thought those brakes were going to work. Look at me trying to build a better go-kart with better brakes.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
And it doesn't matter if you throw your body off a cliff. You'll pick up exactly where you left off. You will pick up exactly, because life is eternal. Think of yourselves as like energy or something, right? Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Stop trying to destroy it. Stop trying to build a better story. Just let the transformation happen. And you draw that moment of stillness. Like the other day, I had a toothache. The first day I noticed I had a toothache, it's like, damn, I'm getting a toothache. I'm in a new town. I don't know a dentist. I don't know anything. Right? I woke up the second day. It was worse. Right? The toothache was worse. And I'm like, this is stupid. What am I, a body? But I had to include it in. I must believe I'm a body, because here I am experiencing this pain in my toothache. Right? But I knew what to do with it. I'm going to take the toothache, which is representing pain, to the light. Not the other way around. I'm not going to try and bring the light to it and spiritualize my toothache in any way. It's like, no, I'm going to totally accept the toothache. It fucking hurts. I got this damn toothache. Right? So I went into the living room and I sit in the chair and I simply open my mind to the light, and I hold that place in my mind for a moment. Right? I don't have to ask anything, fancy words, nothing. God knows what I want before I ask. It's implied in the action of going to the light. Straight away, no toothache, no dentist, no nothing. That was yesterday or the day before. And if you've ever had a bad toothache, you know what it feels like. It's like the worst kind of thing. But you give your story to the light. I think I'm a person with a story about this that happened in the past and something that I'm looking forward to happening in the future. No, you're already that right now. I'm already whole and perfect. What am I trying to do here? Be more whole and perfect? Be a better version of whole and perfect? All my thoughts about not being whole and perfect don't mean anything. I'm whole and perfect. Now, you've got nothing to say about it. Is that all right with you, Emily? You're whole and perfect as God created you, and you have absolutely nothing to say about it. Everything that you think you have to say about it, give it to God. Simple as that. Oh, look at this funny idea. I think I'm unworthy. Look at this funny idea. I think I'm whatever. Just keep giving it to God. Train your mind to do that again and again and again. Rather than fight against the illusions, just keep returning your mind to God. Rather than struggle with a toothache, just give it to God. It's in the light that everything occurs, in the light. And you don't even have to know that. That's why you have prayer. Prayer is the opening of the heart and the opening of the mind together. The mind makes the decision and the heart has the passion. You draw that circle and you just sit there. I'm not going to step out of this circle until this is done. And you'll know when it's done. You'll feel it. You feel it within. I feel like this is done. It's a sense of things. Is that good? You're learning to become aware of those subtle frequencies, those in between the notes, in between the words, the meaning that the words have, not the words themselves. Words are a temporary sort of stopgap in the process of remembering that you already know everything. It's kind of funny. All right, I love you guys. I'm out of here. I'm going to go do some stuff. Hang out with Tina for a second. All you guys that are giving books away and being part of that whole new thing that we're going to do as the extension of this as being useful in that way. Hang out with Tina for a second and she'll do the housekeeping on that. Thank
All right,
you.
love you.
Any questions? Anyone got a question? Anything? Before I go, leaving the door, out of the door. No, good.
Hey, Tina, do you need, I think I already gave you the first time you put the information about the address and everything. Is that, do you still have my address and everything?
If you gave it to me, I should. If you sent it to me, then that's what that message was. If you sent it to me, then it's good, unless there's an update. And if there needs to be an update, then send it again.
No,
And I'll let you
no.
know. I mean, I seem to have gotten them all the first time around. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I kind of like Claire and Natasha. I know it's late for you guys. And I left you a message. I don't know if that was clear because it was filled with a whole lot of I love you and all that other.
Yeah, the system.
Lord Father.
Yeah, just really happy to just help. So whatever's needed, whatever needs filling in, happy to do it. So just send it through. Yeah,
But hold on, Claire, real quick. Hey, ooh. Oh man. Oh, Claire. I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you, Natasha. Lord, thank you.